Today we're going to be talking about the second investment property I ever purchased. I'm going to tell you all the numbers on it, if it was a good deal, how much money I made on it, if I've made any money on it. That's the story for today. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Myles, a long-time real estate investor and a long-time mixed martial arts fighter. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's great to have you. We talk a lot about investing and in real estate here, and as well as mixed martial arts. And today we got an awesome story because I'm going to tell you about the true story of my second investment property that I ever purchased. This is awesome to me because this is one of the best purchases I've ever made, and I'm going to explain why in this video. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give you a couple of tips for anybody out there that's maybe thinking of investing, wants to grow their money, but it's kind of doesn't know where to start, or maybe you're stuck. So the backstory on this second investment property. In 2013 to 2014, I was basically saving all my money. I was fighting, saving all that money, and I was hustling. I was grinding. I was doing privates, teaching personal lessons. I was doing seminars. And again, I was just fighting a couple of times a year, saving all my money. And I basically was saving with a purpose, is what I call it. From 2013 to 2014, I was just stacking all my money because I wanted to buy another investment property. I wanted to get some cash flow going, and I wanted to get some reoccurring money every month. Cash flow, passive income, it's the same thing, just different words. If you haven't checked out my video on what is passive income, check it out. It's pretty awesome. But today, that's where I was at. I just wanted to get another investment property, and I wanted to get another stream of income coming in every month. Being a fighter, I really couldn't depend on my job. If I got hurt, or if the organization I was fighting for, they wanted to get rid of me, I really couldn't depend on them. So I really wanted to set something up, a stable income sources coming in every month, month after month. And that's what I was looking for. I don't have an inheritance. I don't have anybody giving me money. So maybe just like anybody out there, I have to save and I have to get working capital before I can invest. There's nobody that's just like, hey, Myles, here's $1 million, go invest it. I have to start from the bottom, and I have to work my way up, and that's what I was doing. I was saving all my money so I could invest it. Now, at the same time that I was saving my money from 2013 to 2014, I was also spending a little bit of time each day looking on Zillow, websites like Zillow and Realtor, just looking at properties in areas that I liked. And I was kind of just getting a feel for the inventory out there, the market. Because I didn't have the money yet to go buy something, I still wanted to get a feel and kind of get used to what's out there, and when I do get the money, what I can buy. And the best part about this is that it didn't cost me any money. Jumping online was free, just like smashing that subscribe button and hitting that like button. It helps out the channel a lot. In 2014, one day I jumped online and I seen a property for sale that was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And I immediately liked it. I was familiar with the area. I knew it had good schools. I knew the neighborhoods were nice. I've actually driven through it, and I just had a good feel for the neighborhood. So when I seen this property jump up for sale, I immediately was like, I gotta look at it. I contacted a realtor that helped my stepfather. He bought a house from her, so I kind of got a contact from him, called her up, and I said, hey, I really want to look at this property for sale. Can you get me in to view it? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And the next day, we had an appointment to go check out this house. Now, driving to the property, one of the first things that really kind of made me like, I got to get this property, is because when I was going down the street, I was passing mansion after mansion after mansion. And these were probably $500,000 to $750,000 houses. And there was like a nice lake. And I just remember driving down this street like, dang, I would love to live here. Like, you're surrounded by mansions, and as you keep going down the street, literally at the last house is this little 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that I was looking at and I wanted to purchase. So right then and there, I just knew. I was like, buying this house, I'm surrounded by all these mansions. It's literally like that old saying, buying the crappiest house in the best neighborhood. So I was already attracted to it right off tops. So as we're pulling up to this house, I noticed it needed some work. It needed a little bit of roof work. It needed some flooring issues. It needed some paint. It just needed some love. It needed somebody to come in, give it some paint and some touch-ups to really make it livable and make it pop. And it was for sale right now at $44,500. And I remember thinking like, this house is a bank foreclosure and needs some work, so let me negotiate a little bit. Let me come in, and I threw an offer in at $30,000. And the bank rejected it, and they didn't want that. They countered back at like $42,000. And I went back and forth with the bank for probably about 3 or 4 days. And I got them all the way down to $34,000 cash. Now I knew this was a great deal at $34,000. And doing some research on the property, I seen that it was actually foreclosed for a mortgage amount of $120,000. So I knew, I was like, this house at one time sold for $120,000, if not more. So the banks thought it was worth that at one time. And also, too, somebody who bought it thought it was worth that at one time. So I knew, I was like, man, I can't lose that $34,000. And on top of that, I looked up the rents in the area, and it rented for $1,000. So the rents were strong, and I knew there was potential for growth and appreciation down the long term. So I closed on the property, and once I bought it, I immediately had some people go over there, start fixing it up. Now I estimated $10,000 in repairs, but it actually came up to $15,000 in repairs. And from my experience, anybody that's coming up wants to, remodel, repair houses, or anybody that's actually done it, it's usually whatever you think it's estimated, add another 50% to that, because that's usually what the real estimate is. $15,000 I had to put into it, fixing it up, and all in, I had $34,000 for the purchase price, plus the $15,000 in rehab and remodel, so I was all in for about $49,000 cash out of my pocket. Once I bought this property, my whole goal was just to rent it out. Remember, I want to get that cash flow. I want to build income sources so they can replace my job and I don't have to work and all that. So when I bought this property, that was my main goal. So I fixed it up, I made it livable, and the next thing I really had to do is I had to run some numbers on it. And let's get to those numbers. This property rents for $1,000 a month. I also realized that the taxes were about $140 a month, insurance was about $60 a month, maintenance was $100 a month, and vacancy, you got to account for people not being there, that was $50 a month. So all in, my monthly expenses on this property would be $350. Now, you take that $1,000 for the rent and you minus the monthly expenses, minus that $350, and that left me with $650 of cash flow left over after paying all the expenses. And to me, that's a good little chunk of change. I mean, that's another pipeline of $650 coming in a month. And $650, that equals out to $7,800 for the year. Now, considering I had $49,000 into it, that comes up to about a 15.9% cash-on-cash return on my initial investment. That shows me how hard my money's working for me, and to me, basically a 16% cash-on-cash return is a solid investment. Now, I've had this property for 6 years, and it's been rented out. It's never had a problem with anybody getting in there, and the icing on the cake for me is that over the 6 years, it's appreciated nicely. I mean, I paid $34,000 for it, and I got an appraisal done on it last year, and it came back appraised at $140,000. So I've been renting it out for 6 years, and it's brought in from that cash flow reoccurring every month. It's brought in $46,800 in cash flow over these 6 years. It appreciated $91,000. That's awesome. That's the power of real estate. That's the power of cash flow. And that's the power of investing. So my original $49,000 investment has turned into $186,000 plus dollars, and it's still growing. I mean, that is awesome. It's continuing to grow. And just think about how awesome that is. Imagine if I would have went and bought a car with that $49,000. Man, 6 years later, that car would probably be worth $20,000. So I would have lost money. I mean, that to me is why I love investing, and that's why I love having financial intelligence. Now, I still own this property till this day, and I don't plan on selling it. I mean, it still brings in cash flow every month, and it's still appreciating. Now, granted, there might be some dips in the market, but I'll continue to collect that cash flow, and over the long term, 20, 30 years, I mean, it's going to continue appreciating more and more and more, and it make me wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. Some points here to recap, some good points for you guys to take home. Anybody watching this video, maybe you're thinking of getting into real estate, and maybe you're kind of like, oh, what are just something to take away from this video? Now, first things first, I would say point number one is save, save, save. Nothing happens overnight. It took me a year to save up money to be able to access this investment. And maybe it'll take you 6 months, maybe it'll take you 3 years. I don't know, maybe you make a ton of money, maybe it'll take you a month. Whatever it is though, you gotta save, save, save. Nobody's gonna give it to you. You gotta take it. I look at it as delayed gratification. You know, saving with a purpose. That's basically step number one. That's point number one to take away from here. Now, point number two is to invest in an asset that provides cash flow. What you need to do is you need to take your money and you need to put it into an investment that provides monthly cash flow, and it's an asset, right? If you haven't checked out my video on what an asset and a liability is, check that out. It's awesome. You'll learn a lot from it. But that's the two takeaways here. Save, 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 and invest into assets that provide cash flow. That's my story on my second investment property, one of the best decisions financially I've ever made. And I want to hear some stories out there from you guys. What are your thoughts on it? Would you buy an investment property? Does anybody out there have investment properties? What do you think of this situation on this second one? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, smash that like button and to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.